Now that I'm no longer in my 20s, I can't help but think back and reflect on the last decade. I mean, your 20s are transformative, era of growth and discovery. You enter young and naive in many cases with so much to learn. I was watching a video recently by Clark Kegley where he talked about 5 things he wished he knew when he was 20. And it got me thinking, what would those 5 things be for me? What would I tell myself if I could go back in time? What would I tell a 20-year-old today? Well, let's jump in and take a look. The first thing I'd tell myself at 20 is don't stress over every decision. Now, this sounds simple, but it's so difficult for so many of us. When I think about this, I often think about a story that I once heard that tells the story of a farmer and his son. And they have a horse that is a beloved horse. And this horse, it helps the family make a living. But one day the horse runs away. Everyone says to the farmer, "Oh, what terrible, terrible luck. The horse ran away." And the farmer says, "Maybe so, maybe not." And then a couple days later, the horse comes back and it returns to the farmer. And with it are 3 wild horses. And everyone says to the farmer, "Wow, what amazing luck. This is incredible." And the farmer says, "Maybe so, maybe not." And a couple days after that, one of these wild horses, the son is trying to train it and get it ready for working. And the horse tramples over the son and breaks his leg. And everyone says, "What terrible luck." And again, the farmer says, "Maybe so, maybe not." And then a couple days after that, the local military comes to town to recruit young men to go to war. And the son of the farmer can't go because he's got a broken leg. Everyone says, "What incredible luck." And the farmer says, "Maybe so, maybe not." So the lesson from this is that you never know what one thing might mean down the road. And so because of that, we shouldn't stress over every single thing that comes our way. We need to face the decisions we've got at hand, make our choice, and let that play out as it will, whether it be good or bad, and over the long term that could change. The key here is not being afraid to take action. Sometimes we let our stress build up so much that it leads us to inaction and we freeze. But that's not what we want to do. We want to try not to stress about every decision. We want to take steps towards moving forward and making actual decisions. So that's the first thing that I would tell my 20-year-old self. The second thing I'd tell myself is say yes, especially in your 20s. So many times in my life I said yes and it turned into something bigger and better than I ever could have imagined. A job, new friends, time with family. I can recall many times in my life where I was presented with an option, and though I may have wanted to say no, I said, "Let's do it." And I said yes, and it turned into so much more. And it may seem scary to say yes, but it really can make a huge difference if you just make that decision, jump in and make it happen. There comes a time in life where saying no can be just as valuable, learning where you want to allocate your time and what's important to you. But particularly in your 20s, it's a fantastic time to say yes. Go on that trip with friends. Go see your family, even though it might cost a few extra dollars. Say yes to that freelance job that's going to take a little bit of your free time, but might spiral into something bigger and better down the line. The third thing I'd tell myself is to document. Video, photo, journaling, whatever it may be. Now this one I got directly from Clark Kegley himself, but I thought it was such a good concept. The idea is that you just start documenting your life. And it doesn't have to be for anyone, it doesn't have to be for public, but at least for yourself and maybe future generations of your family down the road. Now, a lot of apps that we use these days do this automatically, things like Facebook Memories and Snapchat Memories and Be Real and all these various apps keep an archive of the various things you've posted. And whether you use those or not, you could do this for yourself. Record a little memo on your phone and save it for the future. Or if you're not into that, bust out a journal and write down a couple notes every night, just so you can remember where you were at various stages of your life. One idea that I love is every birthday, sit down, set up a camera, and just talk for 5 minutes about where you are in your life, what you're doing, what your goals are, what you've been up to recently. Think about how cool that would be 30, 40, 50 years down the line to look back at, say, your 21st birthday and see exactly where you were in your head and what was going on in your life. It's an opportunity that you could really only take advantage of if you start now. So that's something I'd tell myself back in my 20s is go ahead and start documenting. Go and build these memories out so that in the future you can look back on your life and remember a lot of what was going on. The next thing I'd tell my 20-year-old self is, with the money you do have, start saving and investing. This is a really, really important one because time is money, and starting young can make a huge difference for your future. If you start investing in your early 20s, you can end with 4 to 5 to 6 times as much wealth by investing the same amount month over month as if you start in your 30s or 40s. It can make a massive difference in how your life can be later on. You want to let time work to your advantage. Now, I know when you're in your early 20s, thinking about putting some of your free money away into savings or investing isn't necessarily at the forefront of your mind. It's not something you feel like you might want or need to do yet, but it can make a huge difference. Even if it's a few dollars every week or every month, just set it up, get that habit going, and forget that it's even happening. Take a little extra percentage out of your paycheck every week and push it away into a 401k or some form of investment portfolio, just so that you don't have to worry about it. I read the book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich, when I was in my early 20s, and it really changed the game for me. It taught me all about automating your finances and getting invested early, and I'll put some charts on the screen right now so that you can see. Take a screenshot of these and save them. You can see how it's suggested that your money goes from your various accounts, goes from your paycheck, and it gives you a nice little guideline of some ways that you can start saving and investing now. So I'd be sure to go back and tell my 20-year-old self, get started now. It may seem scary, but even if it's just a few dollars, it will make a huge difference when it compounds over 30, 40 years. The final tip that I'd give to myself is to always tell friends and family that you love them. You never know when it may be the last time that you see someone. So call a friend you haven't seen in a while. Send out a text, just letting someone know you're thinking of them. These little things can make a huge difference, not just in your life, but in the lives of whomever it is that you love. Maintaining these relationships goes such a long way. If you're lucky in your early 20s, you have tons of friends, you have your family, you have a lot of people around you. But as you get older, your life goes on and people's lives grow and go on as well, and you may not see as many of these people. So sending them a little note just to say you're thinking of them and you miss them, it really does go a long way. So I would always want to remind myself and anyone in their early 20s, maintain these relationships. I know you have a lot of people around you now, but keep hanging on to them down the road. These are the 5 things that I wish I knew in my 20s and that I would go back and tell myself, and hopefully tell any of you if you're in your early 20s watching this video now. If you enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll check you back in the next one.